And you're good to go.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting Wednesday, May 4th at 6:05 for the Mitchell Business Improvement Area Board. Can I get a confirmation? Oh, first off, I want to say we don't have quorum right now. We did have regrets from Dustin and we've had regrets from Heather. And unless our next member pops on partway through, at this point, we do not have quorum. So we will do an approval and acceptance of the agenda, but we're going to defer the minutes from last meeting to our June meeting. And if anything comes up in this meeting that's an action item, we'll take it for information and we'll bump it to our next meeting for approvals. Okay. Hopefully this is a quick one, I think. Yes, Bert.
Did we get an agenda?
Yes, you did. And it also came in the newsletter, as well as a separate email to you.
When? If I could just
check
ask
your,
quick.
Check your junk side, Bert, and it'll come from iCompass.
Never thought of that. All right, well, carry on.
If not, find the BIA board newsletter, and the link to it is in the newsletter, or go right on the West Perth website to meetings, and scroll down. It's there under business.
I'll do that. Carry on.
Okay, so I don't know if we can confirm the agenda if you haven't seen the agenda, Bert. So you let me know when you've got the agenda there, because I'll need a confirmation, a mover and a seconder for the agenda.
I'm just waiting for everything to run as usual.
That's okay.
I will, I'll put the agenda up. I'll share screen the agenda for just a moment.
Okay, so that we can move on.
The agenda approved.
Yeah,
so
it's tough to approve the agenda when Bert said he hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, so we should probably.
Well, when you said it was coming out, I was expecting, so I wasn't looking for it. And then when we started, I'm thinking,
that's okay.
So Dan, can you give me the ability to share?
Minor technicality, Bert.
Thank you. Clerk Hobson, can you give me the ability to share screen?
Yeah, just one sec, Jeff.
Yep.
No crud, I'm in the wrong spot.
I'll email it to you in a minute, Bert. Oh, good.
Okay, so now we have quorum. Okay, so we can move forward. We do have quorum now.
Okay, Chair Bell, what I've done here is I've shared the agenda for tonight's meeting for the purposes of you being able to get the agenda confirmed. I will email it to anybody who wants it. I'll actually email you the link to how you can get it in a minute here, but here's the agenda.
Okay. So can I have a mover and a seconder to accept the agenda? Steve? Bert? All in favor? Now that we have quorum? Perfect. Okay, thanks. All right, and has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes? Anything they need, questions, concerns, anything you want to change or discuss? If not, let's have an approval. A motion to approve the minutes from April 6, 2022.
Sorry, Chair, you jumped over the disclosure of pecuniary.
I did. Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone have any pecuniary interest? Speak now, but you don't have to forever hold your peace. You can let us know as we move along if you find yourself in a pinch. Okay, now we'll move to a mover and a seconder for the minutes of April 6, 2022. Everybody jump at once. Bert? And a seconder? Brent, are you good with that? And we'll move. Yeah, I can see your lips moving. We're going to go with it. Thank you. And all in favor? Thanks, Steve. All right. Reports. Justin, Economic Development Officer for the county.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Just bear with me a quick second here. So the report is in the package. I won't go over each of the items in detail. Just at a high level, we are kicking off our tourism season over the next couple of weeks. We've got quite a few activities planned. Chief among them, the the Perth County tourism brochure and farm gate map, which are being printed and delivered to mailboxes across southwestern Ontario, points of interest, en routes, and municipal offices, and all places in between over the next couple weeks and months. So keep your eyes on your mailbox and your points of interest there for a Perth County tourism brochure and farm gate map in the next couple of weeks. We do have 2 summer students who've been onboarded to help get those brochures into people's hands over the next summer months, and will be available at circulating through various community events and making their presence known and sharing information about what's there to see and do in Perth County. So great to have some tourism students aboard and able to be out and about again this summer. Next thing I wanted to highlight was our digital service squad and and also the Canada Digital Adoption Program. So there's still lots of work being done to help businesses get online, continue to adapt and pivot to digital operations. So again, we continue to offer a digital service squad, which is a bit of a scaled down version of the full service, because our contract with our funding for that dedicated person had run out at the end of February. That being said, we do have an application currently in for a full-time 2-year digital service squad coordinator. The province announced a re-up on that program, so we're hopeful that if we're successful, that'll provide some continuity to a really valuable service over the next 2 years. So stay tuned for that. And then kind of in the same vein, there's 2 federal programs that are currently being offered through the Canada Digital Adoption Program. The Grow Your Business Online program, which is micro grants of up to $2,400 to help adopting digital technologies, and then the Boost Your Business Technology Grant. This has to do with developing a digital adoption plan and working with digital experts. So lots of support still out there for businesses trying to get online. So please do reach out to us and we can help direct you to either the Digital Main Street program or the Digital Adoption Program through the federal government. I won't spend too much time on anything else. A Perth County Economic Development newsletter is coming out, hitting mailboxes next Friday. So this is kind of the last call for any content. That could be community events, interesting community or business related content, anything that would be valuable to share with the Perth County business community. Please do send that to us. Deadline's today, but I'm sure if you send something to us first thing in the morning, we can maybe squeeze it in there. So again, please do contribute to that, and look for that hitting your inboxes on Friday, May the 13th. And then lastly, I'll just highlight the succession planning webinar. So this is something we've been working on as an outcome of our Perth County Business Retention Expansion Survey at the end of last year. One of the results that we found out through our follow-up was that there's quite a few businesses that are either nearing retirement age, business owners, operators nearing retirement, or contemplating exiting their business. So succession planning, this webinar will be a real fill a need in terms of our business community. But that being said, it's really targeted towards businesses of all types. So not only those who are nearing retirement, but also in talking with the facilitator of the session, the best time to think about ending your business or how you're going to exit your business is actually when you start your business, so that you can set it up in a way that's most beneficial. So setting up a succession plan can help you save time, reduce uncertainty, and the sooner you set one up, usually the cheaper and more cost effective it is to execute. So mark your calendars for Tuesday, June 21st, 7 p.m. More details to follow in the next week or so, with some more posting on social media in terms of how you can register for that. But again, this is not, although it's succession planning and we think of that as something that businesses look at the end of their life cycle, it's really this webinar is really designed for any business at any point during their life cycle to get that conversation started and figure, kind of plan earlier to make it easier for everyone. And then last but not least, next week is Economic Development Week. So this is a week celebrated internationally for the profession, but also for what economic development means and what it does in our community. So keep an eye on our social media pages for some informative posts, I think, about what economic development is, how businesses like yourselves contribute to it, and how as residents, we all have a role to play in terms of economic development in our community. So that's it for my update, and I would welcome any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Any questions? Nope, everyone's good. Yeah, that's a pretty busy schedule you've got here. This is great information. Thank you. Okay. Municipality West Perth, Jeff.
Hi, Chair Bell. I'll do a couple of quick updates, and if you have anything to add, please add them at the end. And I'll try to be very concise. First of all, the Friendship Center auction is being sold by live auction. The sale is tomorrow afternoon, Thursday, May 5th at 4 p.m. at the site. If any of you haven't seen the package and are interested in bidding, or if you want to just come to the auction undisciplined and take the risk that you may buy something, please come out tomorrow afternoon and bring your down payment check, deposit check. Secondly, I want to mention the Ketterson Pavilion project. We intend to go ahead with the Ketterson Pavilion project. You may have heard in the media that the Pavilion project came in over budget. I think it's important to the BIA, it's important to the community, because these events that we have in Ketterson Park with the quality of the facility have a major economic spinoff for the community. But we also want to stay within the budget. So we are rescoping the project. We intend to invite the low bidders to rebid on the project. I anticipate that we're meeting with the community organizations next week. We've done a little reconfiguring of the project to try to get the same functionality, but to stay within the $1.25 million budget that we had hoped for. And then we'll go to tender. And I believe that revised timeline would be that construction to start mid-September, sort of after the fair, with a project delivery for May 15th or June 1st of 2023. So in advance of next year's, sort of high part of the fall season. We would miss the first part, but not the whole season for sure. And the new booth would be up and running. So the next, I want to just mention the municipal office project. We're still on schedule for an opening in the middle of the summer, and we are anticipating working with Economic Development Committee, some kind of public event in September, where we might do a business-oriented open house, wine and cheese or something like that. And certainly the BIA will be one of the target audiences that we are hoping to attract to that event for the two purposes of, number one, talking about business and talking about business activity and trying to reconnect with the contacts in person that I think are very important that we've been missing. And then secondly, obviously, to give our business community an opportunity to have a look at the new building. That's a big investment for our community and for its future. The council had a conversation about the extension of the patio program for downtown and supported that. I believe Dan could give me more detail, but staff have the authority to approve those permits. And it's the same as it was in previous years where as a municipality, we are waiving the deposits and we're waiving the permit fees as a way of trying to assist our downtown businesses transition now after or near the end of the pandemic. I'll mention to you all that nominations for council, the nomination period has opened. It is open from May 2nd. It's been open. I think we always hope to recruit candidates for council, perhaps from committees. So those nominations are open May 2nd. I think the nomination period ends August 19th. Packages are available at the municipal office. And I would encourage, if any of you have any questions, there's been some online webinars. You could speak to the clerk if you know anyone that's interested in running for council, or you have questions for yourself, please speak to Clerk Dan Hobson. And the final little update I want to give the committee is that I'm going to recommend to the BIA committee that we use the June BIA meeting as a workshop meeting rather than as a formal meeting like we have. So we would start the meeting in a formal way, but then we would move into closed session for the purposes of having a workshop. The workshop that I'm proposing is a workshop that's structured around talking about where we've been the last 4 years, what we some ideas about how we might tweak with the BIA board governance and talk about options for the future. I want to have an opportunity to talk to the board about where you see challenges in getting a representation, how many meetings we have, how we're making decisions, how governance works. And I anticipate, with the assistance of Dan Hobson, the clerk, and also probably the treasurer, I think will support this meeting to be able to have a conversation about options for refinements to move forward. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't use the knowledge of this group of BIA directors to do some refinements to your governance through your constitution and your bylaw to set the BIA up for success in the future. And we'd like to start that process with the June meeting. And I am away on June 1st. And so if the board is prepared to entertain the June meeting being used as a workshop, I would ask that we reschedule to June 8th as the BIA meeting for June. And I'll leave the board to discuss that either now or perhaps at the end of the meeting when you talk about next meeting.
I think we can probably just discuss that briefly now. My suggestion is that it's an in-person meeting. I think it's important that we do that as an in-person meeting. That would be probably my only request suggestion. Is everybody okay with moving it to June 8th? That way we can finish off okay. So we're going to plan on that 6 o'clock here.
Yeah, I'll say
the town hall.
June 8th in person, and we'll provide a light dinner. We'll provide like a sandwich or something so that we can make it a working dinner meeting, and we'll start at 6 and try to be done by 7:30 or so. We'll try to make it very concise, but I think it's a great opportunity to talk about the future, and we'll try to make it fun and thorough.
Okay, good. I think we're headed in the right direction. Thanks,
You
Jeff.
need a motion for that, Sherry, or no?
Yes, please. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You beat me to the punch. That's perfect. I was just going to say, could I have a motion to accept the change to the next meeting, a closed session in person, June 8th, 6 p.m. And Steve Welcome made that motion. Could I have a seconder? Bert, Brent, if you don't mind putting your camera on just for voting, because when your camera's off, you don't show up to the crowd the large crowd watching us on YouTube. When your camera's off, you don't actually show up on their screen as being here. There you are. Hello. just when we're voting would be great. All in favor then? Lovely. Thank you. Okay. Next is Trish, BIA coordinator. She has a few things in her she has budget to actuals and a couple other topics to touch on and with us.
Good evening, everyone. So I wasn't going to pull the budget to actuals up on screen since they went out in advance. Did anybody have any questions? I don't really have anything to point out. Things are pretty much on par with last year, and we're actually getting a consistent allocation to our BIA bucks line. That's been something more consistent than we've had in the past. So I don't know if there's any other questions, but I don't have anything to point out.
There we go. Where are we sitting with our BIA bucks? Do we need to top them up at all?
So I did reach out to YNCU the other day. I think we're still good. So I'm just trying to quickly find that email. I think we're still in pretty good shape. We've got about 5 packs of the 5s, 4 packs of the 10s, and I don't know what's sitting there for the 20s in packs. So I think we're still okay, but
good, then that's fine.
Yeah, I've got it on the radar because he wants at least 2 weeks notice, right?
Well, I would suggest if we're in the next 2 months, longer.
Okay. So if there's no other questions, I can move into my report again. That was sent out with the agenda as well. So I don't really need to highlight anything unless there's questions. I know one thing that I would like to ask is that slogan contest. We originally were going to award $50 to the person who submitted the slogan that the board chose to use. And the person that submitted that, Discover More in Mitchell, came in after the deadline that we had set. And I I mean, I would assume we're probably going to give the $50 in BIA bucks, but I wanted to figure that out so I could get that cleared up. Any thoughts on that? Anyone?
I have no problems in giving that person the $50, even though
You
they're
accept it.
past the deadline.
Okay.
It's not that we had 100 submissions or anything like that. So
True. That person gave 100 submissions, but they
oh,
didn't have
did
100.
they?
Yeah, that was the one that gave that whole second page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either
So,
way,
okay.
they gave it in, we accepted it. So yeah, I'd say go ahead.
Perfect. And we don't need a motion because you guys are already motioned to spend that before. So I guess, yeah, are there any other questions on my report?
No.
It should be if you click on the BIA coordinator report. Oh, okay. I'll share my screen.
So I'm not seeing I'm just gonna do this on camera. So I apologize. Trish and I are in the same room. So I apologize. My conversation with her just now. I'm looking right now on our the link that came through in the newsletter. And Trish, it does not. It has BIA budget to actuals, but it does not have a link at all here to your report.
Okay. Can you see it on
So-
screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna shut my.
I can do a really quick summary, but like I just talked about the slogan contest for the Easter window display contest. I didn't have any businesses send any submissions in. So that's $50 in BI bucks that we aren't spending. The associate memberships were invoiced last week and they're due May 31st. And we've gotten one notification so far. Mr. Pettipiece is retiring this year, so obviously will not be renewing. However, that being said, maybe when the MPP is elected, we could reach out to see if they would like to join. The website, I did some updating to the What's On page, which has got the Spring Street Party information on it. And the poll wraps that we have, our QR code at the top is going to link to the What's On page. So that page is going to be something we're going to make sure is updated consistently with all our events so that people can be driven to that page and it'll be accurate all the time. So I'm going to finish getting the rest of our events up there in the next month. For the Spring Street Party, I've got a little bit of planning to date here. So advertising, the radio ad starts next week and goes right till our event. It was $847.50. The Mitchell Advocate, we've got a digital campaign running right now, plus some ads that went in, which are ads that we paid for and discount or free ads that the Advocate gave us. It's on the West Perth digital sign. I emailed the information to go into the newsletter as well, which I just flipped to Justin now because I got an out of office. So that should be included as well. And our outdoor games came in. So it's a chess and tic-tac-toe. So it's chess on one side, tic-tac-toe on the other side. It's like a blanket that lays down. And then I got ladder ball. So that came in a lot more under budget. And I've got Connect 4 on order, but it's on back order right now. We're out of stock. So I'm waiting to hear. So I got that locally at Foss, which was really nice. The West Perth Public Library is going to do their story walk. So anyone that's interested can click on the link there and email ask.wppl@pcin.on.ca. What they're looking for is businesses that would take an 8.5 by 11 or an 11 by 17 page in their storefront, and it'll be like one page of the story, and then people would go to each storefront and read a page of the story, walk throughout the downtown. So I think it's a fantastic addition to our event, and I don't believe they've heard from anybody yet. So if you know anyone that wants to participate, please email them. West Perth Youth Center doesn't have enough youth to have the center open, so they are going to have a couple youth sit at a table and just discuss some of their upcoming events and try to get more youth to come in. But they have offered to look for some BIA or some help with our BIA station. So waiting to hear back from them still. The Ritzville is going to have an auxiliary spring sale and barbecue 12 till 3:30. It's going to be at the Ritz. This is something that they do every year, garage sale weekend, so I didn't offer for them to come downtown. And I think with with the businesses that are already open on a Saturday, I don't know where they could set up to have this big, it's a pretty big sale. So, and I have heard from MMJ Asian Mart, who's going to do 20% off all their groceries, and the Sugar Maple restaurant is going to barbecue sausage and footlongs, weather pending, in front of their store, which I think is great. And then Dustin is going to get back to me on live music or sending music out through the PA system. So he would know, I think he said in the next 2 weeks. And then the digital sign free advertising we talked about last month. So there's an additional $5 fee to reformat artwork. So what happens is the businesses will fill out a form. There's a form online to do your advertising on the digital sign. So when I send an email to the business to say, you know, you're being awarded with this free advertising for a week, please fill out this form. And then a link comes to the customer service rep at the municipality, and they send their artwork in. And then if there's a little bit of reformatting that has to be done to fit perfectly on the new sign software, there's a $5 charge. And so I had asked the board, is this $5 going to be something we would cover in our $1,500 budget? I heard back from one person. My assumption is we will. We're not really getting the uptick in people that want to participate. I've heard from 3 businesses so far, so I've listed them there. And right now I've just been awarding them in order of receipt of email because it's been pretty quiet. So I don't know if you've already approved a $1,500 budget, so I don't think you need to. I guess if you guys could just tell me if you're okay with us paying the extra $5 if and when needed, that would be great.
And I think when it came out in email, there was a general consensus of yes, if I was correct, Steve. Yep, that will just sort of make it as easy as we possibly can. Maybe we could do another push out to businesses, just reminding them that this is available. We should probably have a time frame where we're going to say, okay, we're going to stop asking businesses if they're interested. But are you guys okay? My thoughts, if maybe we do another push out email asking businesses if they'd like, let's give it another whirl. Yeah, see what happens. And then we'll do nothing over the summer. We can revisit it in September if we so decide to try again.
And I mean, if businesses don't reply over the summer too, like, so it's been in the news in the last couple newsletters. So if businesses don't reply to over the summer and you guys still want to pursue maxing out your $1,500 budget, we could put them on every week in the fall too, till we hit that $1,500 or the year runs out. So there's options. We're not tied to it.
How long does it stay up there? 2 weeks, did we say?
1 week.
1 week.
We're doing 2 businesses per month for 1 week.
Oh,
Yeah. And then the last piece that I had in my report was the light standard pole wraps. So these came in last fall, and they should be installed on the pole when the pole is, or the weather is 10 degrees or more. So once it reaches that temperature for a couple days straight, which it sounds like it's going to soon, we should really get a crew together to start installing these. And I think doing installation before our spring street party would be nice, because then we can show people how the interactive QR code works. So that is my report that I had sent out. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Anybody have any questions? I have one question. How hard do you think they are going to be to install?
So judging by the link with the video, it doesn't look to be too bad. You just have to go slow with it. And
so yeah. I'm thinking we could probably do it, but I'm going to throw this out here on camera while Jeff Brick is listening. Jeff Brick, do you think there would be an appetite if we had Trish reach out to our operations manager that maybe one tall, helpful operations staff could give us a hand with them? Or do you think it's something we should tackle on our own? I mean, we certainly can. It's not rocket science, but I don't know. Just as busy business owners trying to get it done, or like, it's fine. We can do it ourselves. I don't know what the appetite would be to.
What if
have a staff for an hour?
Just as a suggestion, just talk there about the youth group not having many members. And I know they're doing Amazing Race thing tonight or something like that. I forget. would we want to reach out to them to help to see if they'd be willing to help out with something like that? Like it's manpower, or is that
Yep.
stretching it a little bit?
I was more thinking ladders, like, you know,
Yeah.
the ladders and the lifts and I mean, not that any of us can't do it. We certainly can, you know, band together as a group. We certainly did for the bows, but I was thinking more of the ladder work that went with it and stuff like that. So I don't know, Jeff.
Trish, you said the weather had to be 10 degrees or warmer. Those poles will be cold. How long? Like they should have to warm up too a little bit.
Yeah, so basically the instructions are it should be 10 degrees or warmer
Okay.
outside. And so the pole would hopefully be a bit warmer too when we do it.
Okay.
Also remember that they don't have to go up the pole very high. So like we just really would need like Bert, like a Bert height person or as like a step ladder, because we start near the bottom and then work our way up 6 feet. So like a step ladder, it's not as bad as when we had to hang the bows and they had to be up higher. And I'd really like to just install a couple throughout the downtown, not the full 16. Let's just get a couple up and going.
And
Well, that's fair. I think we can handle it.
I could take the opportunity to dodge this question, which would be quite tempting. But I
And
will
acceptable
answer it.
as well.
I will answer it. I think that I would prefer if you try to figure out if the BIA can get it done. And if you can do a couple and see how work intensive they are, if you get to the point that you need to ask the municipality for some assistance, please, we'll get you to assess that during the summer, because we do have some summer student options that we might be able to help with that are better than operations, going to operations or recreation during the real high operating season. So let's cross that bridge if we get to it. And perhaps we could get a helper from operations, but let's try to exhaust the other options first.
Nope, that's fair. I just thought I'd throw that out there while I had you on camera. So, all right. Is there any more questions for Trish? Nope. And I don't think we had any correspondence. Item 7, our announcements. Jeff touched on that. So if anybody would like to watch or participate, come with your wallet on May 5th, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. All right, there's no notices of motion. On your agenda, we have the next meeting as June 1st, but if you want to scratch that out and change that to June 8th, 6 p.m., closed session working meeting. The other meetings are there. No meeting in August. Any other business? I think this one's for the record books. My goodness. Okay. What's that? Sorry. Okay. Well, Steve, is this your last meeting with us? You're muted, Steve. You're going to have to start that conversation over.
Sorry. I'm just looking at the dates right now on the agenda. Even though I won't be a businessman after July 16th, there's no meeting in August. I can attend the September meeting if you'd like until the fall election, and then you pick new committees and everything like that then, do you not?
So I would
You're
suggest,
muted.
yeah, you're muted, Sherry. So I'll collect $5 from both of you. You're both muted.
I was going to say if Mr. Brick or Mr. Hobson could speak up here, that
So
would be helpful.
I would suggest that first of all, we should, at Steve, there'll be a logical point where we get you to provide your resignation in writing.
Okay.
And then that just can be an email. It's very simple. I'd be very hopeful that you would stay on for the June meeting, because I think we want to harvest a bit of your knowledge. But if you maybe decide that that's your last meeting, we can receive your resignation then, and then we'll figure out whether the board at their next meeting after that, which will be July, could decide whether they want to move to fill the position or just leave it vacant, given that we're very late in the term.
Right.
And so I would suggest that, again, you make a decision after the June meeting.
Okay.
That's great. That's very helpful if you're still here. I was hoping you were still here for the
Yeah.
June meeting. So,
Yes.
and little housekeeping in July, and we'll move forward from there. Thanks, Steve. So that was the only other business I had. So nothing else from anyone? All right, Brent, I'll get you to turn your camera back on because we're going to have the big vote here. So if I can have a motion to adjourn at 6:40, and I do believe that's a record.
Yeah.
Meeting, oh, sorry, I missed that. A motion to adjourn.
That was Bert that did that.
That's Bert.
And
And seconded by
Brent.
Brent, and all in favor. Good, we are adjourned.